Hello, AAMC and DCH. Again, I want to thank you for this opportunity to share yogic techniques to help to manage the symptoms of stress and anxiety to the frontline workers. My name is Tina Lanzoni. This is my daughter, Gabby Lanzoni. I'm a yoga therapist, and today I want to share with you somatic exercises to relieve tension in the shoulders. Thoughts, emotions, sensations are also interconnected, and they certainly influence one another. And during a time of stress, which we're going through right now, super easy to create holding patterns in the body unconsciously. So what Somatics does is it helps to, it's very gentle movement patterns that shift the central nervous system and help to create new movement patterns and help to relieve that stress. So what you'll need today is just a blanket or a pillow, and I'm going to have Gabby begin by lying down on her right side. So when you lie down on your right side, it's kind of like you're lying in a high back chair, and I'll have her extend her bottom left arm out, her right hand on top, and the idea is not to bend the top elbow in any way. So using your breath, you begin by inhaling slowly and stretching the arm forward as far as you can, and a slow exhalation to begin to slide that hand up the forearm. Before you get that bend in the elbow, you do it again. So inhaling, reaching forward, and exhaling, slowly sliding back up. So I'm going to have her keep doing that. The movement is done slowly. And the reason that the movement is done slowly is because slowness creates some level of consciousness. So you'd want to do this about 5 times, and I think this is about the 4th time for her. And then after you do that 5th round, just taking a moment to come back to the starting position and just pause, maybe taking a moment to just settle in the body, allowing the eyes to close. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to take your mind from a place of thinking and worrying and concern to an inner experience of sensation in the body. So again, for the shoulders, this next exercise, trying to keep the hips quiet, a lot of tension around the thoracic spine and shoulders. So now on the inhalation, the left arm is going to lift up to the sky. Gabby's going to keep her eyes on the hand, so it helps to kind of strengthen the optic nerve. That hand will go out of her line of vision, and then when she brings it back, again, she'll just watch it as it slowly comes back. And again, 5 times on this, so very, very slow movement. And the idea here is that you're starting to train yourself to not so much rely on the intelligence of the brain, which is super important, but also to rely and get to know the intelligence of the body. Sensation truly is the body's language. So if you can learn to feel, your body can give you signals when things are kind of out of whack. And I'll have her do just one more round. That's great. And then again, this notion of pausing, of just closing your eyes, of just going inward, of just kind of checking in, seeing what you feel. And really what you're doing in this pause is you're bringing consciousness into this moment in time. You're learning to be present, to not project and worry about what might come. And then the last exercise in this is she's going to take that left arm and she's going to make kind of, keeping your fingertips on the ground, she's going to take kind of a semicircle over her head and behind. She's going to try to keep her hips quiet, circling all the way down and around. And then she's going to reverse it in the opposite direction. So try to keep the hips quiet, the hand on the ground. You might not have the range of motion that she has. You might have a greater range of motion. It really, really doesn't matter. It's just these kind of interesting forms of movement that aren't typical ways that you move your body that help to create these new movement patterns. So again, that number is about 5 times, moving slowly. And there is always a choice as to where you put your mind. So as you're doing this, the choice is to bring the mind into the feeling body. You can think, you can feel, you can experience emotions. Right now we're trying to experience and feel sensation. So after she does one more round of this, again moving slow, slow, slow. Then I'll have her reverse that movement. So now she'll start to bring her hands down towards her feet, kind of cross over her body. Obviously it's going to lift up, touch the floor behind her, bring it around and come all the way back. Now, it may seem like, you know, this is really, really simple movement. Why am I doing this? And it's not necessarily difficult movement. It's not something that you necessarily have to think of, but that's the whole idea, is can I keep my mind present in this movement? Can I just feel all the way around as I'm circling that arm and stay present? And for most of us, the mind is going to drift away. So can I catch that moment when the mind does drift away and just bring it back to feeling? And so one more time, super slow. The slower, the better, because we're always rushing. And that slowness will just help to ground us in this moment. So this time as she comes around, I'm going to have her just come onto her back now and just taking the legs apart and maybe the arms overhead in like a letter V. This kind of pentacle position helps to really experience the inner body, right? So we have this outer body that maybe can feel the sensation of air on the body, can feel the feeling of the clothing on the body. But as you lie here and just experience the result of those movements, can you feel what's happening internally? So when you're doing this on your own, I'd have you probably rest here for, I don't know, 2 minutes or so. And you might notice the arm that you worked, you might feel kind of an aliveness in that shoulder. From the inside, you might also feel the movement of the breath or the beating of the heart. Just paying attention. And then I'm going to have Gabby come to the other side now. And if you're doing this on your own, again, you're welcome to do it as long as you wish. Just resting. So the first one, you'll probably see this a little bit better on her. She's going to slide that right arm up. She's not going to bend the right elbow and slide it up the inner arm. So just trying to get some movement in her scapula. Inhale as she moves forward and exhale as she comes back. And so sometimes that scapula, that shoulder blade, just can get fixated. And so we want to try to move. And I can see that happening in Gabby's body. So 2 more times. And then after this last time, again, palms are together. Eyes closing, and then just this sense of, okay, what's happening in my body? What is happening in this moment in time. And then the second movement is to take that right hand straight up towards the ceiling. Now, her eyes are going to watch it, right? And that's also going to be a grounding thing to help her stay present. When her eyes can't see it, she's still looking for that hand, keeping her eyes on that hand the whole time, as soon as it's in her line of vision. And again, you can see this movement not only in her shoulder, but also in her thoracic spine, which tends to get bound up. And so when you're doing this at home, the silence is sometimes nice. I'm sitting here, I can hear the birds outside. And sometimes if you just have some really soft, calming music, really nice to turn on. But let this be a time where you really take care and nurture yourself. She'll do that one more time, even slower, not letting her eyes leave, looking for that hand, reaching, feeling, and then slowly coming back. And then again, a moment of just resting and experiencing the inner body. So when you're doing all these movements, at the same time you're coordinating the breath with the movement. So the movement is slow, the breath slows down, and that helps to elicit the parasympathetic response, so that kind of rest, digest. So we'll now go into the third movement, which is that circling. Hand comes over the head, hips are staying quiet, arm is going to circle around till it comes down behind her body, and then she'll slowly bring it all the way back. So we're bringing that shoulder now, getting some rotation into that shoulder. And you know, it's interesting because there's just this way when there's tension, and I know that, you know, everyone right now is experiencing the tension of the world, is just this way to just kind of contract when there's tension in the world. We get protective. And so this really just kind of helps as a to counteract that roundedness that happens, that contractiveness that happens, and break that movement pattern. So I'll have Gabby do that twice more. Not really complicated movements, and then once you get them and you do them on your own, again, the quiet is really nice at this time in life. And she comes over, now have her go in the opposite direction, moving super slowly. About 5 times. And so the first time, right, there just may be this amount of stiffness with all of this, and as time goes on and blood starts flowing to that joint, increases the range of motion, helps to just get energy moving in the body. It's fascinating to me, the simplicity of this practice, and really how profound it is. Really, really slow. Last time. And then I'll have Gabby once again gently roll onto her back. This time, arms alongside of the body. And again, spending a moment or so to just feel what's happening from the inside. And I want you to know that this learning of this skill of feeling the internal body is simply that. It's a learning of a skill. So it might at first be very foreign, this concept of trying to experience that. But if you keep practicing it, you'll start to really get a sense of just this subtle body within you. And then I'm going to end by having Gabby just place her hands on her belly. And this is almost what we were doing last week, but flipping the body over. So as she breathes in, I'm going to have her belly just kind of rise up into her hands. And as she breathes out, I want her to feel the weight of her hands as her belly falls down. So as you do this, we did this last week, we called it crocodile breathing, where you lay on your belly and you get the feedback of the floor. It's a little different. You're getting feedback from your hands. And you're also learning to breathe diaphragmatically. You know, in stressful times, we tend to breathe into the chest, clavicular area. By engaging the diaphragm, we really help to calm the nervous system. So inhale, the inhalation is the expansiveness, and the exhalation is this kind of settling breath. So you are welcome to just lie there and breathe as long as you wish with this diaphragmatic breathing. And I thank you again for this opportunity to share with you. Namaste. Okay. That was good. Why are you laughing?
Huh?
Why are you laughing?
I don't know, I just kept on like wanting to laugh the whole time. That was good.